A single moment during an endless summer is set to take the stage this week at the Video Pool Media Arts Center in the Exchange District. Never Swim Alone by Daniel McIver is a complex study of two characters, two men, haunted by the boys they once were and pitted against one another in an emotionally intense confrontation fueled by a woman in a swimsuit challenging them on the stage. The production is being shared by the local theater company Snakeskin Jacket. We're joined this morning by Never Swim Alone's director, Jane Walker. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
We're also joined by actor Kerri Woloszyn. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So maybe I'll start with you here, Jane. What first attracted you to this play? Where did you hear about it, and what made you think that this would be a thing to share with Winnipeg audiences?
Well, I first was introduced to this play in Introduction to Theater 24 years ago by Chris Johnson, who we've actually dedicated the play to. And when I read it, it kind of blew my mind because I'd never read anything that was meta-theatrical before. And just the idea of like inviting the audience into the experience with you and there's no walls between you and the audience, it just completely changed what I thought theater was and could be. And just completely stayed with me.
When it comes to a meta-theatrical experience, I love that definition. What kinds of things can an audience expect that they might not get if they were attending a more standard sort of a theatrical production?
Well, the audience is part of the play.
Yeah.
So there is a judge, Kerri, the referee. There are two participants. The two men, and then there's the audience who are the third set of eyes kind of on this competition. So the men and their competition, they are reflecting themselves in the audience, and the audience are judging the competition a little bit as well.
Given the nature of this meta-theater experience, Kerri, what is that like as a challenge for you as an actor to not only have the role down yourself, but also to be even more attuned with the room around you that you're performing in?
Yeah, I think it is quite a fun challenge. One of the things that I get to do a lot, and I've done a lot in the rehearsal process, is be able to watch the play as well. And so I'm sort of an audience member in a way as well, because I get to watch, I get to judge. I get to be there for this truly fantastic series of events that occur within the play. It's funny, it's sad, it's sometimes a little scary. So I feel sort of like an audience member in a way myself. But I also get to engage with them, look at them, go to them for support sometimes, just know that they're there watching me and I can watch them as well.
Again, that sense of awareness that you have to have in something like that strikes me as a very, very unique sort of challenge. Yeah. What do you think you then are able to portray as an actor, given this relationship you have with your fellow actors and the audience member? In other words, how does this kind of show inspire you and feed you in a way that maybe if you're in a bit more of a straight play, if you're up there reading something from Shakespeare, for example, that you might not then get? And how does that change you as an actor?
Yeah, it's a fascinating show in that there are these moments where we move between times. So there's moments where we are our characters in the present, and there are times when we are characters from somewhat distant past. And I just love that these characters are who they are, but their selves from when they were children aren't so far away, and they can tap into those things and move between those worlds in a way that I think is so fascinating. And hopefully the audience sees that. Sometimes they might not, but I think it's fun to have those glimmers. And again, when I watch it, I see these grown men sometimes be boys, and it's just so lovely to see. And I think the audience will see those things too. And I think playing with the audience is such a great thing. This play really is in some ways about play and playing. And I think the audience doesn't often get to see that maybe in other shows. And so
Okay.
playing with the audience is fun. Knowing they're there is fun. Being there with them is fun.
Okay. This play was first written back in 1991, and I'm wondering if maybe, Jane, you notice what has allowed it to remain so relevant that Snakeskin Jacket would want to share it in 2025.
First of all, Daniel McIver's plays are, I've done about 5 or 6 McIver plays. They're always relevant. It's just the way that he writes is just, it seems very methodical and it's very rhythmic and it's very precise. But then there are moments where there's just this real humanity that kind of breaks through. And these real moments are always relevant, like people being people and allowing hurt to come in and allowing joy to come in, I think is always relevant. I think also especially relevant just this masculine rivalry.
Yeah.
How these, as a kid, these rituals they're meant to connect you and they connect you with your friends. But then as you get older, these rituals are kind of protecting you from your feelings and from yourself. And I think that's pretty relevant.
That idea of masculinity certainly was something when I was doing my research to talk to you today, that was something that struck me as well, that there is an element you're allowing you were talking about allowing hurt in, allowing joy in, but also to your point, Kerri, like this is about play, which is all these things are rather vulnerable experiences, I think, for the two characters who seem to be quite, they've got some success drive maybe behind them.
Yeah.
They're driven to be successful men. It seems like, what, as you're working with that kind of energy, Kerri, what do you think that this kind of a show says about masculinity in 2025 that maybe is probably even a bit different than what it was in 1991? Throwing a big question at you here.
Yeah, possibly a bit different. I think there is a lot that I think a lot of the play is about what gets lost and what gets forgotten and what gets left. And I think there are many things that can be true of, but I think there's something that these boys had, like a true real love for each other and affection for each other, that somehow, somewhere along the line, got kind of warped or lost. And there are moments where they can still see those things in each other and still notice some sense of that affection, but there is something that is missing from that relationship that they had that they no longer do. And whether or not that's because they live in the world we do as men, and that was forced out of them, or because they just grew up. It's not perfectly clear, but I think those questions are fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll ask this question of both of you, and I'll start here with you, Jane. Given the nature of the audience's role in all of this, not just mere passersby, not just mere observers, what do you hope that they take away from an experience like this?
Okay. First of all, I just want to say for anyone hoping to come, that the audience is not going to ever be put on stage. Just if you have that fear of like, we're not going to shine a spotlight on you, and you're but you are going to engage with the play. I want you to feel like you are part of the play, like part of the experiences that the characters are having. I want the audience to get swept away in the moments where the characters do. I want the audience to judge the characters. I want them to laugh with them. I want them to just feel whatever they want to feel while they're part of this experience. And I don't know that it's going to be the same play every night. I think that the audience, like where the audience's feelings are, is going to change the dynamic slightly every night.
Okay, what about for you, Kerri? What do you hope an audience takes away from the show, knowing that it's a little bit harder to pinpoint, given that it won't be exactly the same show for each performance? Yeah,
I mean, I think similarly to Jane, I hope that the audience really feels something, and I think it's quite impossible for them not to with this play. There are some things that happen in the show that are quite visceral, and it's an experience every time I watch it. I think it will be an experience for the audience, and I think it's it really is a beautiful show. It's full of many gorgeously written moments, gorgeously acted moments. I think they will feel. I think they'll have fun. I think they might shed a tear.
Okay, I'll throw maybe another added layer into this, Kerri, for what we just talked about. What the audience takes away. What do you take away as a performer from this kind of a unique dramatic challenge into the rest of your artistry?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked before about this sort of shortening of the gap between oneself as they are in the present and what they were in the past. And I think that's so fascinating. I've been thinking about that for a very long time, this idea that your former self, your childhood self, is not that far away. I also think this whole experience has been one where it's just been full of what it means for friends to come together and put on a show. And Jane and I have been doing shows with Snakeskin Jacket for many, many years. We've been doing MacIver plays for many years at this point as well. I think we did one in 2015. Was that
Yeah.
So, that was 10 years ago now. And I just think we have come together. We've spent lots of time creating and crafting something. And I just feel like that is so beautiful. And it's really rare for people to take time out of their daily lives. We all have day jobs to come together and do something like this, to make art. And I just think that's beautiful. I think we are all friends in the show, and I think we've become better friends by doing it. And the show is about friendship. And that's what I'm going to take away.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. This production runs at Video Pool Media Arts Center in the Exchange District from November 19th through 23rd. We'll have more information on Never Swim Alone up at our website a little bit later on today, classic107.com, and on the Classic 107 app. Kerri Woloszyn and Jane Walker, it's been such a joy getting to hear more about this production, and all the best for the run.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
Thank you.